So, hello, Jen. Thank you so much for joining me today. So we met about 3 months ago at an event that I spoke at the Good Space. So first and foremost, it's a great reminder about the importance of networking and public speaking as a way to promote what you do. But would you like to just briefly introduce yourself and what you do in your business?
Yeah, I'm Jen. I do sort of a range of things, but I make like ritual art pieces for like for rituals that help you through periods of change and like connecting with present moment, like connecting with the wisdom of plants and the elements and the natural world for like exploring your own identity and processes and things like that. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, and I have a
Um,
newsletter, which is the thing that I've been building, in our coaching sessions. So building a community newsletter around those themes. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that's called And In Between. It's all about those liminal spaces between
Mm,
once one thing's finished and the next one's not quite begun, which is not always a pleasant place to be.
yeah.
So can you cast your mind back to when we first met at the beginning of March and what was going on for you in your life and in your business back then?
Well, I've had these are ideas because I've worked, I've been self-employed for more than 15 years before kind of the pandemic time. And then I I was historically I've been a holistic therapist, and I had my own well-being practice, which I moved from like London area to Devon and managed to set all that up, again, like just start from scratch again, which I've done like multiple times throughout. But after I kind of like stopped doing that work, it was like a really like a big hit on my identity, I guess, because a lot of my identity was like caught up in the well-being like industry, which felt unsupportive to me at that time. And I felt like I was carrying a lot. I didn't feel like I was carrying a lot for for my clients or for friends, for all sorts of other people. And although I was starting to work on better boundaries, and I find easy to do when there's like a kind of an obvious container for it. Um, I I don't really think I'd got to, you know, as far as I thought with it, because um I'd stopped my career and everything, but I had this idea to do to work with plants and herbs, the kind of thing that I've been doing in my personal life for many years. And it's like very connected to the work that I used to do. Um, but it was rather than like working with clients, I wanted to actually sort of connect with people and um, invite them into like their own personal practice rather than like me carrying it. So I'd had this idea for honestly for years, and it is the kind of thing that I've been talking about with, for years as well on social media and through my business and all of that. But yeah, I'd gone through this big collapse, had a couple of jobs that like ended up not working out that well, because I realized that I couldn't really work for other people like. And then I was doing a bit of sort of doing some like projects for people, and each time it became apparent that I wasn't setting like boundaries good boundaries in the beginning, and each time it was like something would go wrong, and I'd get like in these situations that were just completely destroyed my confidence basically. So I had all these ideas and like making really beautiful things, and but I just couldn't like bring it into focus or like seem to get it to the point where I could release it into the world in a coherent package.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was like pretty lost. I was diagnosed with ADHD about probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, maybe 6 years ago now. And I there was a big sort of fallout like of identity around that. and also I'm perimenopausal. So there was like, there's all this stuff that, was throwing me off completely. And although I had all these like really nice ideas, and I just couldn't bring them together. So that's where I was when we met.
And how's life now? So we're in June now. So how have things changed for you?
Well, I mean, I'm still in process pretty much. But I've got my newsletter started. I think, we started to look at what it was that I was actually trying to achieve, and maybe, yeah, bringing that into the forefront so that I could actually work on it. I guess, yeah, I've done a couple of like markets, selling my things, like just kind of testing the water a bit with it and getting it a little bit clearer on how I actually want to work moving forward that feels sustainable, because I think that was a big thing for me, that I was like, even if something felt good to my, moral compass or something, like my values, if it wasn't, things weren't sustainable because I wasn't putting those boundaries in. But now I think I'm a lot clearer on, yeah, creating the containers, I guess, for those things to grow. So yeah, not like I don't know, like I'm not as far along as I kind of want to be, I guess, but it's realizing that without, going through the process of actually, yeah, creating these containers to work in, I was never going to get as far as this. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
And it's recognized that you are still in that liminal space, which is what your work is all about as well. And I think it's important to spend that time there. Remember,
Yeah,
that's what your clients will be feeling.
I think that's it. And I've always worked quite closely with this like liminal space, but the way that I kind of connect with it is, it's almost like it's not just about transitioning, it's about being in the present moment, because the liminal sort of is the space in between that you can reconnect with, like a new beginning at any time. Like that's been such a heavy theme of my work. Like I'm a tarot reader as well. I used to have a lot of clients with that, but that was like, I was finding it unsustainable to, yeah, I think what it is that I've been very comfortable at kind of guiding other people through these kind of spaces, but it's going against the grain a lot. And now it's about me actually like doing that work for myself and prioritizing that so that I can like either guide or hold space for other people in a sustainable way. So yeah, it's really forced me to kind of look at how I'm interacting with the thing that I'm kind of guiding people through.
Yeah, and I think this comes up for like lots of us in this sort of world where the thing that we're teaching to others, it's the thing that we most need reminding of ourselves. So that like taking our own advice, practicing what we preach, leading by example, like it's so important. And like,
Yeah.
and to remember the discomfort of being there as well, it's really important.
Yeah.
So how's working with me helped you? Like what parts of it have you found particularly useful, or what you're going to take forward into the future?
Well, I think it's good to have the group sessions were like particularly useful for kind of creating a rhythm that I could stick to, like working on my own, or like trying to you know focus on a particular thing, or those really helped me to kind of frame it in a span of a week and like just concentrate on that thing throughout the week. And there was some useful tools in there for like planning, that which is not something that I'm strong at, and I don't think I ever really can look in that traditional planning. But those sessions gave some like alternative ways of thinking about it. So that was really good. And then yeah, like in the deep dive sessions, like I don't think I ever like spoke about what I expected to, but it was good to, it was like really positive to have things reflected back and then have like integration time. So it was, yeah, I think like having the structure of those sessions was really good. And maybe I didn't use those kind of things to as much as I could, but you know, it's like going from being completely lost and disorganized to then like having a bit more structure and accountability, or yeah, people to reflect back where you are and yeah, think about things in a deeper way. So that was really useful.
Excellent. And what are you still, so we're talking about the last 3 months, what are your goals for the next 3 months?
Just continuing on to get the structure of, you know, to create the container for the work that I, you know, that I'm ready to do. And I think I will, you know, like continue to, I want to find ways to build in the structure and the rhythm to keep that going. I want to get my newsletter fully functioning, which is, you know, realizing that it just these things take time, and like just yeah, just kind of being a bit more gentle with myself, and like yeah, realizing what an achievement it is to do even just small things when you've been in that kind of, you know, messy space. And then that all of those things kind of accumulate and create momentum. So yeah, it's just keeping up the momentum really. And yeah, I want to like keep trying to like bring into my goals for the week. I don't really like goal setting as such, but to keep in mind, you know, things that I need to do to like nourish or relax, like rest, or you know, bring some kind of like fun into it so that it actually, you know, becomes part of my planning and, you know, guiding me towards getting this business a bit more streamlined. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think so something we spoke quite a bit about, especially at the beginning, was that idea of like creating the rhythm rather than like structure and routine, and like the rhythm of, you know, like following nature's cycles, or, you know, like energy levels and things like that. So can you speak a little bit about how that's worked for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've always done anyway. And I'm kind of very like, I do a lot of things where I'm like going outside and I'm doing all that. But I think what's been helpful is yeah, having, yeah, we called it rhythm rather than structure, because I feel a little bit like those actually restrict. I feel that's restrictive, but actually, like I've reframed those containers that manage to like contain the rhythm, um, as of actually something that like gives you freedom. Um, so I think, yeah, reframing it, like bringing the practice that I kind of do in my like life into the work, like bringing it into the work, or kind of bringing it all together as like one thing rather than um yeah, separate like parts, you know. I think that's what's really useful. Yeah, it's like creating the rhythm actually creates more freedom. And yeah, I think as well, like because you had us just sort of really reduce what our goals were each week, um realizing that kind of less is more in, and it actually allows you to actually be in that, you know, rhythm and guided by it, rather than yeah, like trying to like push against it and not yeah, because I'm very much the kind of person that will push and overdo it, over deliver, over work, and it, yeah, it's really brought into focus. I don't know if I'm answering the right question, but it's really like brought into focus how that isn't actually helpful, and that like having that step back, like examining it almost at the beginning of the week, and like allows you to actually be in with the rhythm and like explore what it is that you actually need, rather than just doing what you think you should do.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, having that group and like having it at the beginning of the week, and just really actually committing to one thing rather than saying, I've got a list of like 100 things and then not really
Yeah,
achieving, like doing a bit of everything, not really getting anywhere. So yeah, it is. And it takes time, right? Because this makes logical sense, but it takes some practice to
yeah,
actually make it work.
that's the thing, because you can, if you try and do it on your own, like, you know, you can know the theories of these things. Like I definitely, it's something I've like studied in a lot, and like, but it's, if you don't have a container for it, like it's very difficult to change your way of thinking, your habits, because you can just get caught up in whatever else it is you're doing, especially when you've got ADHD. You know, but like it, yeah, the containers for it, it's like an anchor point, isn't it? The week of the, you know, in your week, in your month, and yeah, point of reflection, because you can just totally get lost in just the vastness if you don't have that container.
Totally. Yeah, and lose that perspective so you don't get, and I'm thinking of ADHD, we want those dopamine hits of like actually feeling like you achieved something and completed something, but it's very hard to do that if you don't know what you were trying to do in the first place. So you don't, if you haven't spent the time to decide what success looks like, then you don't know when it's time to celebrate it. So what would you say to somebody who was maybe thinking about joining, but they were a bit nervous, don't know what to expect, not really sure if it's for them? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I'd say just, you know, go for it. If it's something that it's, you know, it's piqued your interest, it'd be for a reason. And I think, you know, you don't realize the power of like bringing those, yeah, that's that structure and rhythm until you try it, and just realizing that if, you know, things don't happen immediately, but like just know that if you do, like things will change, because it happens over time, you know, and it can feel really hard, but you're in a supportive container, and like, you know, Chloe never, you know, always makes you feel really comfortable. Like, you know, you you're not getting forced into anything that doesn't feel like a lot in a line with your, you know, your own kind of goals. You're just being like guided, like gently but firmly. So yeah, I would say just go for it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're
And is there
welcome.
anything else that you would like to say?
Um, not sure really. I think, yeah, just it's just a really positive, like, yeah, it's just a positive like idea. Like it's, you know, it's a like affirming, and I definitely feel affirmed, and you know, like I feel like I'm quite a difficult like person to kind of guide. So you know, it's been really like, I feel like you've definitely taken into account like who I am as a person, rather than trying to force your kind of um like, you know, whatever it is. I feel like some people kind of like they have their own like way of teaching or doing things or something, and that you have to fit into them. But I think, yeah, Chloe definitely doesn't do that. Like she will like, you know, take time to understand where you are, and like um yeah, like adjust it and like give you a reframe for different things. It's definitely led by you. So yeah, just yeah, if you're feeling the call, just do it.
Thank you so much. And you've not been difficult to work with. You've been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I wish you so much luck
Thank
in the
you.
future.
Thank you.
Thank you.